Hey guys and gals, got another one for you today. Today I'm platooned up with Hoops and Drewski, and we're on Sacred Valley, Team Destruction. Hoops and I are in our Panzer 7s, Drewski's in his Sheridan, and looking at the other team, they don't have a lot of heavy tanks to be able to fight the choke, so me and Hoops should be able to hold on to that pretty well. I'm going to head over there. We are going to be short-handed, I believe. If I remember right, it's just me, Hoops, a Leopard, and a Charioteer that go over to the choke. But we have enough armor, hit points, and alpha damage to get us through that, unless they all rush us. And this is going to be a long, grueling game, so there's going to be times where I'll have to fill with some commentary. I'll try to make it either educational or exciting. Bear with me, but it is worth it in the end. Alright, so we head over to the choke, and when you come across this choke, there's this little opening here. You want to make sure that your turrets at least turn sideways, and then just drive through as fast as you can. If you get stuck back here, you definitely can play like a defense mode, but this early in the match, it's kind of ridiculous to already set up a defense up here. So we just drive through, trade shots that miss. And I'm looking back to see what we got coming with us. And off we go. Now unfortunately I'm going to be the punching bag, so for all you guys that wanted to see a game where I did not do well, which trust me, there are plenty of them. I was thinking about putting a game or a video together of like games that I sucked out in, and then kind of talk about what I could have done better, or what the team could have done differently, things like that. Can't get a shell for that E4, but now I've taken a shit barn shell and an E4 shell, so that's awesome. I'm gonna help my Leopard out with his fatherland so he can help us. Leopard gets the fatherland killed, the Charioteer comes in behind me, and Hoops has got the corner, so should be okay. Hopefully their arty doesn't throw shells over here. Now if you pull around this corner, generally the red arty is gonna pound you, and if you let them around the corner, then your arty generally can hit them. Now this is one of the things I do not like doing, is doing a side scrape maneuver behind a side scraping tank. That just is usually rough, but I get a shell into the E4's top cap, and our Charioteer gets a shot into the shit barn, shuts him down, and I fluff my shot there, and then I back up into the Charioteer, realizing that he's reverse side scraping for some reason. So I wanted to make sure I took that shot for the Charioteer, and unfortunately T-30 lights me on fire and ends my game. So not an impressive game at all in my Panzer 7. Alright, so we're going to jump into Hoops' Panzer 7, and it looks like cleanup mode, right? 7-3. Me and Drewski already exited the game, but Hoops has just got to finish this up. So you see how much damage he took in that engagement, and it's not because he wasn't taking shells. He was on that corner. They were tracking him. He just used his armor a little bit more effectively than I did. Alright, so we're going to push up. And really at this point, sitting in this little area is going to allow cross shots for anyone in like J9. So you want to try to get down in the south as fast as possible. And as he pushes down here, there's going to be some tanks across the valley. He does take his first damage of the game. It's 10-6. And you're just going to watch his team get farmed out. The Reds are going to put up a decent defense here, but it's not going to be enough. Alright, so he's going to push on. Alright, and then there's one red medium tank that is going to be the highlight of this video. Yep, spoiler alert, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Their STB-1 which honestly up to this point I really don't know what he did or what his game was like, but he farmed a lot off of J9. So you will see once these other two tanks die, this STB is going to be left in a 1v5 Kolobanov situation, and there's going to be some healthy tanks that he's going to have to deal with. Now, if Hoops doesn't live, we probably go back to the garage, and I never get to see this game, so I'm happy that Hoops was alive. So come down here, and he misses his shot, and then the Progetto tries to go around him, but Hoops is going to keep him in front of him, shut him down. And then now here we go, 1v5. How does the Stubby handle this situation? The Panther 2 that's been sitting by Artie for the whole game now decides to drive south and try to get to the STB. I don't know why he didn't do it earlier when we actually had tanks that could return fire on the STB, but it is what it is. Alright, so Stubby takes out our Carnarvon. We have Artie, and he really isn't in like the safest Artie position, being on top of the hill, being spotted. Artie generally is going to be able to shut that down. And we do have a tier 10 bat chat. Alright, so the STB realizes that the Panther 2 has no health, so he pushes into him, kills him, and then he's going to push on to Artie, which is a great play on his part. Our E100, if you've been paying attention to the minimap, our E100 pretty much has been tailing Hoops like 2 squares back the whole game, but he's conserved all his hit points. So for a Stubby to be able to take down a Panzer 7 and an E100 is going to be a pretty impossible task. Like, it just feels like it's cleanup mode, but I could just kind of feel it, like, okay, this guy is a good player. He's playing this, I mean, this end portion to a T. So to me, I'm really worried that the E100 split off from Hoops here. Not a lot that Hoops could do from it. And Artie tries to get away. This STB slams a shell in on the move. That's an impressive shot. The STB has great DPM. It's got decent turret armor that's workable. It's got good gun depression. And the one thing it doesn't have is good accuracy. So it'll troll you. Now, in this situation, the E100 is pretty much full health. So what he needs to do is just close the distance on this STB and not allow the STB to shoot him at range, right? So one thing he's going to do is he's going to stop to take shots every time the STB comes out, and he's not fully aimed, and then the STB fully aims and returns fire. I don't know what he's afraid of. He really just needs to go take care of him. And now Hoops has shots on him, so they shoot at each other. And the C100 starts to close the distance, but you can see he keeps hesitating. Like, he's not sure if he should stop and shoot. And there, he gets a shot into him. And now he's closing the distance. Okay, he gets a nice ram in, and now he should back up against the pile of rubble. Utilize this pile of rubble. And he drives away from the pile of rubble. So now he's in the open, which an STB is going to be able to traverse an E100. And he gets his ammo rack, and now the E100 can't do anything about it, and he's going to get shut down. Oh, that's some heartbreak. But that's alright, we still got Hoops. Hoops can take this down. And honestly, okay, so before I speed this up, the STB heads north, and Hoops is in hot pursuit. But I let him know there's no way that STB is going to fight him, a Panzer 7 in a tight corridor, right? So in my opinion, I think he's either going to exit down the 1 line or go across the B line, and shouldn't go up into this little area. But if he is waiting up here, then Hoops has got to at least spot it out. So I understand his frustration there. And really, had that E100 just played a little bit more defensively against that pile of rubble, Hoops probably would have got there. STB would have been shut down. Game over. But now Hoops is going to be on a wild goose chase to try to chase down an STB in a team deathmatch in a slow heavy tank where the STB can just... And the other thing that the STB has going for it is mobility. It's a pretty fast medium tank. Now its power to weight ratio isn't that great, so it doesn't accelerate very fast, but once you get it going, it moves. Alright, so Hoops had a 50-50 here on which way he wants to go, and just like talking about it, I felt like if I was the STB, I'd try to get back up into my sniper hole, right? So I want to get back up into J9. I can see if the Panzer 7's coming down the 890. I can see if he's deciding to come down the HJ. I mean, it's just a really nice position for an STB. Now, Hoops decides to go through the north, and I feel like you can get up to the hill, or at least you can get to the bottom of the hill better from the JK line, in my opinion. So he decides to cut through the middle, and then he's going to wrap down to the J line. And if he doesn't spot him, then he's just got to decide what he wants to do. We're running out of time. And at this point, since we had way more heavy tanks than them, they have the tiebreaker. So if you're ever in a 1v1 situation, you're not sure who's going to win that, count the heavies on each team. Generally, the team with the most heavy tanks is going to have the most hit points. And if your team has the most hit points or has the most damage, then you're going to win the 1v1. And if your team does not have the most damage, then generally you're going to need to take down that other tank that you're against. Now, Hoops needs to close the distance here, but he has to be careful because he can't turn his side to the STB. However, he only has a minute to get this done. And the STB's got good crew. He stayed unspotted. Got a shot into Hoops. And Hoops is going to creep up here. And you can just see the time tick away. The STB, he's got 7 kills. If he wanted to go for the Radley, he could definitely come kill Hoops. And, I mean, that's going to be a tough play for him. I think he makes the right decision. Decides not to fight Hoops. I mean, taking down a Panzer 7 when you don't have much health is not the best decision when you got the win in the bag. So we get the defeat, and we get to endgame stats here. Roll out my sad 1600 damage that I do. Hoops does 4K. This guy drops 7600, 7 kills. Just throwing down. So shout out to O'Neal if he ever watches this. What an amazing game. I sent him a GG and nice work. That was fun to watch even though I lost. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.